So South Africa's under-21 tent pegging team recently returned home from Jordan in the Middle East, where they participated in the ancient equestrian sport of tent pegging. Now, the team managed a fifth-place finish out of 7 teams at the International Tent Pegging Championships. Now, one of the 5 members of this team is an 18-year-old Khosi Dlomo, the first South African black female athlete to represent the country on the global stage in tent pegging. She joins us via Zoom this morning to have a chat to us about the experience, of course, for Team South Africa out in Jordan. A very good morning to you, Khosi, and thank you so much for your time. I'm quite fascinated about, the tail end of what I said in that intro. The first ever black South African female athlete to represent South Africa in tent pegging globally. Tell us about your story. How did this happen?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. My tent pegging journey, it started in 2013 when I was invited to one of my friend's birthday parties. It was a horse riding birthday party, and after the day of being led on horses, I was just drawn into horses and I fell in love with riding horses. And the following year, I attended lessons at the same place where the party took place. And later on, I discovered the sport tent pegging. And after that, I just never looked back.
Yeah, talk to us then about the sport tent pegging. If you had to describe it, to someone like me who hasn't come across it as much, how do you describe the sport? What is the sport all about?
Tent pegging, it is a military sport, so there's a lot of discipline in it. The best I could describe it, it's a team sport where sometimes 4 riders or 2 riders or yourself, you race down a track with either a lance, which is like a spear, or a sword, and you try to pick up this white cardboard rectangular shaped peg that's planted in the ground, and while racing down, you try pick it up.
All right, and actually we're seeing visuals of yourself out in Jordan where you're representing, South Africa in that tournament. And just take us through that, video that you're seeing at the moment. You've described it as obviously as holding a sort of a spear in your hand and then trying to then, pick the peg from the ground. I can imagine, Khosi, that takes a lot of, practice, a lot of skill to know how to peg that peg from the ground.
It does take a lot of practice. I know that over the years, I used to go every single Saturday from 8 in the morning till 4 o'clock. That's when the horses get fed. We'd be practicing. And as I got older, my coach used to tell me that if it's not raining, I expect you on the farm. Yeah. So it does take a lot of hours and a lot of practice.
Yeah, a 5th place finish for South Africa in Jordan. Talk to us about the experience, though, how that experience was for South Africa, for your team members as well. And maybe just in also describing that experience, tell us about how far South Africa is compared to the rest of the world from what you were able to see in the Middle East.
From our experience, I know me and my team members, it was a big change for us because all of us were like teenagers, so we still ride as juniors here in South Africa. But this competition was for seniors, so we were competing against older men and women, so we were the youngest team to compete. The experience, just comparing our riding skills to other people's riding skills, it's that like everyone's style is different in the sport, so it is very interesting to see the different riding styles that people have. In terms of how far we are as a country, I think in terms of riding skills, we are quite ahead. We're very, a lot of people would come up to us and say, wow, we're so impressed with these riders. They're so calm on the horses. Like, you handle your horses very well. So I think in terms of horsemanship, I think we are very far as a country. And yes.
Yeah, I hear that you also own a couple of horses. Tell us more about that.
Yes, I have 2 horses, a boy and a girl. The one's name is Shadida and the other one's Baloo. Yeah. Shadida, I've been riding her, I think, majority of my high schooling career from, I think, grade 8 till grade 11. And then I changed horses because, unfortunately, she is a bit slow. And in the sport, you have a certain time frame that you need to go down the track. And my horse, she's quite slow and I don't want to push her too hard and then she hurts herself or even I get hurt on the horse. So she's more of a horse for kids that start tent pegging and are still learning the sport. as of now, I ride my coach's horse, and she's the horse that I got my colors on. And my other horse, Baloo, he's just chilling at my parents' farm. He's like a decoration horse, but we're going to bring him down soon, and
Oh,
I'll start training.
that must be a difficult decision to bring down a horse, obviously a horse that you've ridden before. How difficult is that decision for you to make, Khosi?
Do you mean in terms of like changing horses?
You just said you'd have to put down the horse,
Oh
right?
no, I mean like take bring him to my coach's farm because he's on my parents' farm.
Oh, okay, that's what you meant. All right, the Call Your Rising Star as well. You know, you've had the privilege of captaining the under-15 team in the KZN area. You've also had the privilege of also being part of the South African under-21 team. Just tell us more about exactly how far you want to take the sport. You know, what are your goals? What are your ambitions? And what exactly do you want to achieve? And I can imagine you still would want to represent South Africa on the global stage.
Yes, I would definitely love to represent South Africa for the sport. There are talks of the sport being put in the Olympics, so it would be really cool if I could represent my country for 10 pegging in the Olympics. For my own aspirations for the sport, I would love to, have my own riding school and teach kids how to 10 peg and bring in more Black kids into the sport. Um, and I'd just like to grow the sport more, especially in KZN, because our club is quite small. So just to grow the sport more and expand it more, that
Yeah.
would be really cool.
Absolutely amazing. You'd want to bring in more girls your age, Black girls, to also take up the sport. Is there, though, a general interest from, girls of your color in the sport? How difficult is it for, young Black girl to also get into the sport? What challenges have you faced as well?
In terms of challenges, I won't lie, I do feel that my parents did do their absolute best to try shelter me from any discrimination. So I didn't face a lot, but I didn't hear what was said. So I think the hardest thing would just be having to prove myself that I'm just as good as everyone else. So at competitions, I do my absolute best to prove that I am a good rider. I am good at the sport. Like I put in the hours, I put in the effort. So just to be seen the same as all the other riders in my team and viewed that she can ride, she's very good, she deserves her spot in this team.
Khosi, a massive congratulations of what you've been able to achieve in the last 18 years you've been on this earth. Congratulations and all the best of luck for the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Khosi Dlomo, of course, they're involved in tent pegging, representing South Africa, part of that 5-member team that was all the way in Jordan just a couple of weeks ago, representing South Africa at the tent pegging championships.